Have yourselves a very Merry Christmas. May you disembowel your friends. Roll around in their entrails and draw pictures in their blood on the walls. What's up, everybody? It's me freestyling a little bit. Welcome to Horror Movie Club. Wait, hold on a sec. I have to close the YouTube because I'm hearing myself on delay. It's really confusing. But yeah, welcome to Horror Movie Club, the stream where we watch a horror movie. It's always something that is not behind a paywall. It's always something on Tubi or YouTube or something like that. And there's a link always in the video where you can watch before the stream, hop in and chat about the movie with us. Or if the movie sounds interesting to you, from listening to us talk about it, then you can also click on the link and watch it free of charge. This week we're doing Christmas Evil from 1980, a previously obscure Christmas horror movie that is basically now regarded by a lot of people, more and more people, as being a little bit of a classic. Even if it's a cult classic. It's the freakiest thing when I think to myself that Christmas horror movies, that's a genre now.
Yeah,
or at least a subgenre.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, back in the Disney, there were you could count them all on one hand, right? It was like Black Christmas. There was tonight's movie, Christmas Evil. Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I think had 4 sequels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them on there.
But just in the last 10 years, there's been a tsunami of Christmas-related horror movies.
Yeah, man.
Especially once people learned who Krampus was.
Right, I was about to say that.
Right? Now I'm German. I know who the hell Krampus is.
Right.
Right? Because the Germans are fucked up. They love to come up with stories just to terrorize their kids. If you've ever read Grimm's fairy tales, man, those are gnarly.
They're good, man. They teach you about life. Teach you about life a little bit at a young age. A lot of kids probably nowadays don't read them. There was a book that I read as a kid, or my family, we read, it was mostly the Grimms, and it was bedtime stories to tell. Mm-hmm. And there's thousands of them out there, but there's this one specific book that had all of them combined in a good way. And the illustrations in there were really good. And I searched, I could not find the book, and I finally found it off, I think it was Amazon or something. And I read it to my kids, just so they know that, you know what I mean? Hansel and Gretel and, all the good ones,
Rapunzel, Cinderella, that's always wonderful that when you have something from your childhood that then you can share with your kids.
Yeah.
Right. I know, that's for parents. That's all the guys that I know. Of course, they're all sick deviants like yourself, and want to share these things that you loved as a kid, because one of the things that the Germans understood and that the Japanese also understand is that kids like to have their fairy tales a little dark.
Mm. Yeah.
That kids want that.
They like horror too. They
love horror.
And they're just interested, and it's they you tell them no and they're just going to keep doing the opposite. You know what I mean? That's just
forbidden
crazy.
Fruit. Yeah. I mean, I kind of think of age-appropriate horror movie education the way I think of age-appropriate sex education, right? Mm-hmm. You start out when they're very young, difference between boys and girls. You don't go right into Blumpkins and orgies and salad tossing, all that stuff.
Wait, don't show them now when they're fucking 2 or 1 year old. You know what I mean? Wait till
exactly.
Teenagers or later in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't just take your kids and drop them into Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, you got to keep them. You got to keep them innocence, man. Nowadays the kids they lose their innocence and they lose the magic. You know what I mean? At a very young age, like my kids believe in Santa. You know what I mean? It's like you try to keep that magic going, dude. You know.
I just heard you,
especially with this. What's that?
I just heard you lower your voice there.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to, you know, you got to keep that magic going, man. You got to do different things. Elf on the Shelf. Got to keep it going every year. Keep it more, you know.
Hell yeah. And you know, it's interesting because I have friends who are, you know, secular, but they come from like a Muslim background. And so, but they do Christmas. And they asked me to tell their son about Santa Claus, which I considered like a great honor.
Yeah.
But then I found it like really difficult because I was lying to a child.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's such a beautiful lie.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's not really a lie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
well, I mean, it's just you have to do that in life, though. You can't just, you know, sometimes you got to know when to do it and when not to do it when it's appropriate. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's an unfortunate thing, but we all fucking do it. We're all going to continue to do it. It's human nature. But with this one, it's a magical one, you know?
It is. It is. I love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas almost as much as Halloween. And there is something magical about it. Yeah. And it is the one time, no, I'm sorry. There's 2 times of the year when I really, really envy my friends who have kids.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Halloween and Christmas.
Oh, totally,
right?
Man.
Oh my God, right? Because you can hook your kids up.
Yeah, I try to give my kid, you know, like my kids, you know, more than what I had when I was a kid, and I was fucking spoiled, you know. I mean, I pretty much got everything I wanted. You know, my parents took care of me, and
yeah, me too.
I try to take it to the next level, though, like with the magic, you know, because I think I figured out, you know, the truth by the time, like pretty quick, you know, but I still kind of went along with it just because it was fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and of course, I think where the Christmas horror films come in, specifically the Santa Claus horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Like axe wielding Santa, you know, I mean, there was the I forget now. I remember in the movie of Tales from the Crypt, the 72 version, the evil Santa is a strangler. But then I'm thinking, like, wait, wasn't he an axe murderer in the comic book version, the EC comic book version? But then I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm misremembering that. I mean, we all know how untrustworthy human memory is.
Oh yeah, totally.
And you know how we develop these head canons and we get things, you know, turned around and mixed up. But there's something.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, as like a society and a populace run or globally, I think what made Christmas, like, I mean, it's been there. Christmas horror has been there like since Krampus and whatnot. But I think like modern, you know, really modernized it and took it to the next echelon. I think it was Nightmare Before Christmas. Like they really just kind of put them both together, and they're spooky, and then you got the magic together, and you could do them both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think ever since then, people really, really embraced it more. Like it's almost a genre now. Like you're saying, there's a subgenre, but Nightmare Before Christmas is huge. Like it's so big now. You know what I mean?
It's so really, big. Really big. It's so big that there are conventions dedicated just to that movie.
See, now, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And yeah, some friends of mine, I remember, needless to say, it was popular, like, you know, in the 90s goth scene. Like, oh yeah, we're going to like a Nightmare Before Christmas convention. I'm like, there's like a convention just specifically for that movie? Really?
Yeah.
Now, I've never been a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas.
I think it's all right.
It's all right.
You know, I'm not like, you know, oh my God. And I love Tim Burton. You know, like when I was a kid, I loved his movies. I loved Batman and Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands. Those are, you know, and Danny Elfman, all that shit, you know. Except
Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas is not by Tim Burton.
Yeah.
He neither wrote nor directed it.
Yeah. He just produced it, right?
Yeah. And put his name on it. But, you know, I wouldn't hold that against him because that is what puts asses in seats. Yeah. Right. There's a lot of people that normally wouldn't have seen that movie, and it's a stop motion, right? Which is a dying art form. Even was a dying art, it was especially a dying art form then. Yeah. Right. I just thought of it as like a lesser version of Mad Monster Party. So I was spoiled.
That. I have to check that out.
So good. so good. That's great. It's written by Harvey Kurtzman, you know, the Mad Magazine guy.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah. So you got all your monsters in there. You got your Dracula, Frankenstein monster, the Bride, who's played by Phyllis Diller, a Karloff,
Ooh, nice.
basically playing himself as a mad scientist, as a little Karloff puppet, and he provides the voice, which is wonderful
Sweet.
because he loved doing that shit.
Yeah.
And then there's the Gill Man, and of course I always love how stop motion animators do water and liquid, right?
Yeah.
But the best is, I know we're getting off topic here, but the best is the Invisible Man, because he's invisible. How do you represent him? Not as a guy like wrapped in bandages and that, but as a smoking jacket, a pair of sunglasses, and a fez that just float around.
He's like cool Hefner kind of.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's just, yeah. But then you're just like, yeah, he's not wearing any pants though. He's walking around with his,
So he's a
with his
cool
junk head.
Hefner then.
This junk head. Yeah, man. It gives zero fucks. You know, you gotta let your nuts hang. But that's interesting. I didn't put that together. But yeah, maybe that is why we've seen recently this big influx.
Yeah, it's
all the
gonna
Krampus
get bigger
movies.
Too. And
it's only going to get
going hard. Krampus
oh my
is
God,
its own genre now. Like you go to the Red Box.
Yes.
And there's this one where it's like I think it's called I forgot the name of it, but it's Kramp, like on the cover it's Krampus fighting Santa Claus, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I had
a Christmas horror story,
you know, and then
which I haven't seen.
I've seen it. It's cheesy, but it was fun. I seen it like 2 years back, and then there's like 10 Krampus movies, you know, and then there's like the Universal one,
like 20.
Yeah, there's so many, you know, and yeah, I thought about making a comic one day of that, you know, and I was like, oh, a lot of people are doing that shit, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love me some Krampus, but yeah, it's just insane that like there'd be as many Krampus movies, almost, well, not even close, really, but like it reminded me of like when suddenly there were like a billion zombie movies.
Yeah, totally.
And right, well, I remembered back in the 80s where the only people that were into zombies were like the real trolls and the deviants like us.
So what's the deal with Krampus? Because you're German, I've heard different, like I heard that like basically is for the teenagers, you know, to keep those fools in check once they started becoming little badasses and know-it-alls. You know, is that what it is? Yeah,
Krampus is who comes to visit you when you've been a naughty little boy or girl. Yeah. Right? So yeah, it was, you know, basically to kind of put a little fear into kids once they stopped, you know, thinking like, I don't know, maybe as they were aging out of Santa Claus.
That's what I heard, because I knew it was supposed to scare kids. I mean, I've done that for years, but until recently, and I've read the Wikipedia and did some light, you know, searching on it years back because I wanted to make a book. And just recently I just heard that it was for the teenagers, and I was just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Just, you know, check those fools a little bit, you know, bring the demons out.
Yeah, in other words, okay, well, you know, the reward thing, being a good boy and girl, Santa Claus rewarding you for that, that's not as working as well as it used to. So how about we bring in Crank you up if you haven't been a good boy or girl. I saw the Universal one, which is by, I forget the name of the director, but he's the same guy who did Tales of Halloween.
Felt like Gremlins, kind of had like a Gremlins kind of feel to it. You know, Gremlins kind of Christmas.
Yeah, it is a Christmas horror movie for sure. Yeah,
it got a little cheesy, bally, you know, towards the end with the little toys and shit. I would have been like, got that shit out of there, but it was cool, dude. And the Krampus had his own little design at the end, you know.
Yeah,
that's something I would have done. But
and I like the ending because it wasn't the ending that you normally get.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Where you know, the little boy suddenly realizes, like, you know, it's like a Scrooge story. Like, oh, now I get it.
Oh yeah.
Now I get what Christmas is about. Now I get what life is about.
Then you got fucking Christmas Carol. Maybe Christmas Carol started that shit.
Exactly.
Charles Dickens, he got Digglesworthy. He started that.
It's important. It's important to Christmas Carol is a horror story or a ghost story.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that in England, there is this tradition of telling horror stories, ghost stories specifically, on Christmas Eve. and hail to the UK for that.
Yeah, it's pretty metal.
It's very metal, right? Yeah. And explains like why we got so much good horror out of those folks.
Yeah.
Basically, Christmas Carol was Dickens doing his own version of like a Christmas ghost story. And then, of course, he ended up writing the greatest Christmas story ever.
It's crazy, dude. It's like a duality, You got the happiest like time of the year, and then some fucked up shit to just bring that yin and yang. It's a good. I don't know. And a lot of good movies are Christmas movies. That are action, and I mean we could list them all. Die Hard and Batman Returns and a bunch of other ones. There's so many.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. It's a thing now. People are naming them all. You know what I mean? This is a fucking Christmas movie too. Like all on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a thing that started with Die Hard is a Christmas movie,
and it's like you're right. I mean, you kind of put it in there a little bit. I mean, I guess it's a setting.
It is, and it's a time, and it's a time that has a certain feeling to it. Now, that time can be absolutely wonderful, or it can be horrific. Depending on your circumstances in life, depending on just your general mind. Being a guy who runs a depression bipolar support group, let me tell you, around the holidays, our numbers go up.
Oh yeah, it's the worst time of the year by far.
It's really brutal for a lot of people.
Oh, for a lot of people. A lot of people. Just good to get through the fucker, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what up, Mike Murphy? Professor Murph in the house.
Oh, hail Mike. Hell
and Sim, if you're still hanging out, brother, man.
He's got some good books coming out this year.
Oh God. War Party
was
coming out. Really, really, really good. Really, really good. Did not disappoint. Excellent.
Which one?
War Party.
Oh.
It's about like shapeshifters.
It's that's Professor Murph.
Yes. Oh, wait a second. No, I'm getting my Murphs mixed up. Oh, well, no, we're talking about Mike Murphy. I'm sorry, dude. Deep Well.
Yeah, the Western.
Yes. Sorry, man. I'm blaming that on my ADD, and I'm sticking with it. So please forgive.
Oh, it's all good. I got that shit too. I think I haven't been diagnosed, but I'm pretty fucking sure I got it.
And you know what's great? It's a gift that keeps on giving because it just gets worse with age.
Well, it's cool because you're working on one thing and then fucking two other things automatically pop in your head, and you got to silence those fires or put them fires out too,
And you can weaponize it sometimes too.
Oh,
like
for sure, it works
right.
Like at work. Oh my God, it helps me out so much.
Yeah, like that's like my when I'm not really ADD. I was just using that as an excuse.
Yeah, so I haven't been clinically like diagnosed either, but
no. I mean, I've been clinically diagnosed. I'm just saying I'm not having like an especially ADD day, right?
Oh, okay.
But that's what I meant. But it is a thing, and it's like when I say that it can be weaponized, there's certain days when I'm like ADD as fuck, and mind you, I'll take an ADD day over a depression day or a anxiety day anytime, right?
Yeah,
fuck yeah. But I can weaponize it and like get like a ton of housework done.
Oh yeah,
like it's great. It's great for multitasking.
Oh hell yeah, you go into like robo mode kind of.
Yeah,
you're like you just get knocking shit out real quick.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, without a doubt. So tonight's movie, Christmas Evil. What did you think, Matt?
Well, obviously I've never seen it. I haven't seen 99% of the movies you've recommended. I thought it was awesome. Two horns way up from the get.
It's a bit slow.
It's a bit slow, but that's what made it for me. Part of it.
I agree.
Great character study. Great brood. The build,
yes.
And I think people will probably love this movie that haven't seen it, that are into Falling Down, Taxi Driver, Joker. You're going to like this movie a lot. So I would put it in that genre,
Yes. Yeah, it's a character study. Yeah. Like it's the Diary of a Madman.
This is a great cover right here. This is fucking beautiful.
Isn't that great?
I love the painting. That's an awesome shirt. This should have been the cover that I seen recently. I seen like a Norman Rockwell cover on Tubi.
Yeah, that's the original. I think I have that too. That's the original cover.
This is the horror cover though, man. This is a painted horror cover. Horror movies in this time. You know what color they use a lot that I love?
Yeah.
They use that midnight or sky blue around like a lot of things. It's like it's always lighting things up with like a light blue. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's always
Moonlight.
that cloudy, that moonlight. Look at a lot of these movies from the 80s and 70s. They got that blue around everything. I love it.
Yeah, it is definitely a very cool thing and one of the hallmarks of horror movies from the period. If I had to pick a favorite, like the best Christmas horror movie I've ever seen,
yeah,
see if you can check this out, folks. It's called Joyeux Noel, also known as Dial Code Santa Claus, also known as Deadly Games. You'll probably find it as Deadly Games. It's a French movie, I think, from about 89 or 90. This is when like art films were like at their peak. And that movie is awesome. And many people actually consider it to be the inspiration for Home Alone. Because it's about a maniac Santa who breaks into this mansion where there's a little boy who's alone with his grandfather, and he's setting up traps and stuff. But it has real weight to it. It's
set up traps.
Yeah. So but it's and there's definitely a lot of humor in it, but it's also really emotional. Yeah, I highly recommend that. Anybody, if you get a chance to see that, Deadly Games, look that up. It's brilliant, and deserves to be better known. This was produced by Edward R. Pressman, who went on to produce movies like Conan the Barbarian.
That name sounds very familiar to me. Like one of my favorite movies, The Crow. Conan the Barbarian. I'm like, Pressman, I've heard of this guy before. But I don't always remember. I'm not great with names, so very few stick into my psyche.
As a kid, I would always pay attention to the credits, and remember the first name that stuck with me was Mario Bava, and I knew if I saw Mario Bava, like directed by Mario Bava, I was like, it's going to be a good movie. That's when I started to begin to almost understand like what it is filmmakers do, what it is that directors do. Of course, at that age, you have like no clue. The general public didn't have much of a clue up until recently. Christmas Evil came out it's a Canadian movie. It was made, I believe, partly with funds from the Canadian government. They have a lottery, a national lottery, where they'll take some of the money. Ireland does this right now, which is why there's so many dope horror movies coming out of Ireland right now. And I don't know that it got much of a release. I never saw it on video store shelves. I came across this movie from one of those Brentwood 20 packs, right? Where for like $20 you would get like 20 movies on DVD. And have you ever seen those things?
No.
Okay, well, there's not. Don't have any with an immediate reach. But basically, you'd get this big old box set. You'd open it up. There'd be discs. There'd be a movie on each side. Some of them would be crap. Some of them would be, it was all public domain stuff. And some of the movies would be crap. Well, most of the movies would be crap, or they'd be crappy versions of the movies. But then every now and then there'd be like a gem or two. And those packs were worth buying because of Messiah of Evil.
The diamond in the rough.
Yeah, man. Because that's part of being a horror fan is, digging. Yes.
The diving. No, I feel you, man. It feels like you have to sift through a lot of it because it's the last.
You do.
Everyone's being bold with their genre, of horror, and you got to find those ones. You know what I mean? It's really hard. It's like looking for a good comic book in the bin. Every now and then you'll find one, or there's this place called Book Off by my house, and they have all these. It's like a Tower Records, but it's all used shit. And they got toys, they got movies, they got comics, they got books, they got DVDs, they got computers, they got guitars, guitar amps, anything.
That's
all
awesome.
that shit. It's fucking awesome. They got at the mall, and I go in there and I'm just like looking at the graphic novels, because the comics take forever to look through, man. So usually every now and then I'll find a good one. They have a Pathfinder one there.
Oh, really?
It's pretty cool, from the movie. You know what I'm talking about, the Viking one.
Oh yeah, the Marcus Nispel abortion.
Yeah.
How do you fuck that up, man? You got like Vikings versus Native Americans done up to look like a Frazetta painting, and like about like half an hour into that, motherfucker was like,
yeah, the editing's kind of.
Yeah, it's yeah, and then it's like, let's get that guy to do the Conan movie.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah, but it looks amazing, and it's probably and so if you're like us, you at least probably should give it a look. Christmas Evil came out, like I said, like in 80. I discovered on one of those box sets, along with movies like Messiah of Evil, and it gradually built a cult following. The version that's on Tubi, which you can watch by clicking on the link down below, folks, is from Vinegar Syndrome. Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow Video, Severin, these are Shout Factory. These guys have been killing it by finding these old movies and giving them like amazing restorations. There's a director's cut of this movie, which has an extra 5 minutes. And they look spectacular because they're taking them from like the original negatives. Geez, man, this is one of those pictures that, like I said, it's a slow burn. A lot of people don't enjoy slow burns. I think maybe because they have short attention spans.
Probably. I watched this in the morning with my coffee, when everyone was sleeping, and I put it on, and it was good, man. I liked it though. I don't know.
You liked it.
But I don't know. I knew I could feel it. I could feel the build, and I could see that it was going and going and going, like it was building to something,
Yeah, and like the aforementioned Deadly Games, it has a real weight to it. And you really start to feel it as the movie gets deeper and deeper into this character's psychosis. Now, what fucks him up is really interesting, because I think I was saying the last week how the older I get, the more horror films I've seen, the more I become convinced that horror movies are about childhood trauma. This is one of those cases.
Oh, definitely.
So we have the Freudian primal scene, right?
Yeah.
Which is your mother and your father going at it.
Yeah.
And which happened, but you just don't want that image.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good, right? Now, because what's happening here is actually a really good thing, right? This means that his parents have a hot marriage.
Yeah.
Right? And the best thing, I always, I have a tendency, unfortunately, to lecture my friends and I. The best thing you can do for your kids is to have a hot relationship with your spouse. And look at this, man. Oh yeah, she's got this big smile on her face. He's ready to go nom 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 nom. And he's getting a little Christmas treat, and he sees this, and since he's a child and he believes in Santa Claus, he's watching Santa Claus messing with his mom.
Yeah, he's watching his mother.
And yet he loves Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, dude?
And it's part of me is just like, was the writer kind of jumping around? Did he have a different intention of where this was going to go originally and kept that intro? Or is that really part of the whole thing? I'd love to hear a interview with the director, who is also the writer for this. So he gets this messes him up in a very unfortunate way. And we jump into the future because I was thinking like, oh, he's going to come down and like stab Santa Claus in the throat and it's going to be his dad, right? Like you would think that the trauma would be something a lot worse.
Yeah.
Given what he turns into.
Well, I was thinking too, like when they're making the story, this happens, but then he runs up to the attic, I believe, and he cuts himself with a Christmas ornament, right?
Yes.
So it's almost like to
creates
support your theory of it might have been something else prior to the inception of writing the origin of this killer. And like you said, it could have been a blood oath or sacrifice, or they might have went that route when they were creating the story, as opposed to seeing a traumatic event of his parents, or his mom with Santa about to get the Christmas jingle bells or whatever.
Yeah, boy. And yet it could have been so much worse. One of my favorite Christmas records is by Blowfly. Blowfly is an interesting guy. If you've never heard of him or heard any of his records, he was like an R&B songwriter and wrote some classics, evidently, and then created this alter ego called Blowfly, where he was just doing just these he was doing like these really naughty, nasty party records. And so his Christmas album is great, and one of my favorite songs on there is I saw Daddy sucking Santa Claus.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's just funny because it's with a live audience, and when he says that, you just hear the audience go, "Oh,
horrible."
Oh, so man. It could have been worse, is what I'm saying. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man.
Oh man. Maybe in the remake.
I know. I'm going straight to hell, man. Oh, man. So we jump into the future, and this character is working in a toy factory. He's doing very well. We should say something here about Brandon Maggart, who is the star in this.
I've seen him in other films too. I know him. He's usually an older man with gray hair, and he's been in some iconic movies, but I don't fucking know. And I'm like, dude, I've seen this guy
in a lot of TV, and also this is a Canadian movie. I forgot to mention that this is a Canadian movie.
You know what he's in? What else was he in? What other big movies?
World According to Garp. Wow, he was on Sesame Street. I'm actually just looking up. I think he was in some David Cronenberg movies too. I'm pretty sure he's in Videodrome.
I've seen him, dude. I've seen him in I'm trying to think like a pretty big movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean like the biggest movie of all time, but I mean like genre big. You know what I mean? Like something.
Right. And if you're a David Cronenberg fan, you are going to see a lot of familiar faces in this.
It's like I've been into Cronenberg, but it's like I've only kind of got The Fly and like the Viggo Mortensen films. I didn't get a lot of his body sci-fi horror movies. You know what I mean? There's I got to go back and watch those ones. He did a lot.
They're so
I got to go back, and but I love my History of Violence. I love my Eastern Promises and my fucking The Fly. The movie's awesome.
Oh, have you seen The Brood?
No, I haven't seen The Brood. I basically haven't seen any of his original catalog. I got to go back and watch that.
Oh, dude. I mean, his horror movies are like his early horror movies. Scanners. Yeah. Have you seen Scanners?
Nope, haven't seen Scanners.
Oh,
I've seen the fucking posters for fucking 1,000 years.
You're in for a treat. You're in for a bunch of treats, actually.
I'm telling you, dude. I don't get around much.
No. I mean, this is what now. There's so many low budget horror movies because anybody can make a horror movie. On one of these, right?
Yeah, there's a big director that just talking about putting out a movie on a. You know, I'm talking about who it is, but I don't know. There've been a few. It's like an Oscar movie coming out or some
Steven Soderbergh, maybe.
I think so. They this was all filmed on a cell phone. All right, cool. Sounds pretty badass.
Yeah.
I want to do that before I die. Horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is that now there's such a glut of content. That it's impossible to sift through. So it's not like in the old days. I had my monster magazines. Later on, of course, you had the internet. You had Usenet groups like alt.horror, right? And that's how you would Fangoria back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how you would find out about this stuff. And
Oh, look, we got Sim in the chat. Oh, wait. Oh, no, we got spammers.
We sure do. Hold on, let me deal with these motherfuckers.
It's Mao, fuck. You Mao, what?
Get
out of here, dude.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Don't worry, they'll be back. And Sim,
and a happy new year.
Sim, you naughty boy. It's like, smell gingerbread from last year.
Oh man.
No, he smells cinnamon and spice and everything nice.
But the actor, the main guy in here, he does a good job, dude. Like when he's losing his shit, you know.
He really is like the glue that holds the movie together.
Yeah, definitely believable as fuck. Like the
sincere.
Whole movie is believable. The whole movie, we only got like an hour or two to do the shit, but there's certain things I wanted to say about it. So, like, one thing is he's believable as fuck, dude. Like to me, like it could totally happen, you know. And I'm like watching this movie, I'm like, what the fuck's this creep doing? And I'm like just thinking, like, damn, he's a sick fuck, but damn, like, he's like
he has his heart in the right place.
He thinks he's Santa Claus.
Well, he wants to. No, it's not that he thinks he's Santa Claus.
Trying to become Santa Claus, I think.
Because the whole idea of dressing up as Santa Claus to begin with, what are you doing? You're becoming the avatar for the spirit of Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, so it's not just putting on a costume and going ho, ho, ho for him.
Yeah.
He really wants to embody that spirit.
Yeah, and I love the whole process of him trying to get the laugh. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Yeah, because he doesn't have any. Yeah,
he's
those.
Like, and he finally gets it. Merry Christmas! He starts yelling it out.
That scene where he walks into the Christmas party and he's working on it on his ho ho ho, and and it's coming out like, he's not used to doing this. He's not used to even laughing.
No. He like waited his whole, this was like it's almost like he built up to this one specific year of Christmas.
Yeah.
And he's been waiting out, you know what I mean? For this 1 year, like the clock. He's trying to sing that tune. He's talking,
But he's also so closed off. And here, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of me when I had really bad social phobia and I would walk into like a party or some kind of a social situation where, I was like, oh, fuck, well, just fake it till you make it. Like, it felt like that. And, eventually he's just like, he starts to get it. And when people receive him in a positive way, he does sort of embody that spirit. But then there's also there's still some darkness there.
Yeah.
Right? There's that wonderful scene where he goes to a Christmas party, and it's not the office party. It's this other party where there are these guys, they look at the window, they see Santa Claus, and they're like, oh snap, it's Santa Claus.
You know what's crazy too? That guy that grabs him, he's been in like almost every horror movie. The guy on the far right, he's been in almost every horror movie in the last 3 weeks I've watched.
Tons.
He's like, I'm gonna get you, Ventura, and he's from Better Call Saul. He's like, and also Breaking Bad.
Yes, yeah. He's like I said, there's a lot of familiar faces in this movie. He's one of those familiar faces. So this is loaded down with Canadian character actors.
Those are the best, dude. I love it. I love the character actors.
Me too. And he goes into this, these guys, they spot him and they come out, and at first you're like, oh no, are they gonna fuck with him?
Yeah, right. I thought they were.
I thought so too. But then they grab him, they drag him into the party.
Like, no,
and they're totally sincere, and they're treating him like, the spirit of Christmas is here. Come on in, here, let's get a drink in you, man. Right? They pretty much, even though they know he's not Santa Claus, they kind of treat him like he's Santa Claus.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a really wonderful scene. He's like dancing with this little girl, and homeboy can bust a move.
Yeah, well, like right when he jumps out of bed, like in the first, when you first see him as an adult, he wakes up and he's in his studio, and I think it's New York, and he gets up and he just starts dancing, like throwing his shit around, like damn, like he's just getting down, you know.
Yes.
And he's
Yeah.
slowly evolving into Santa. I mean,
Right.
kind of. Like I mean, he works at a
Well,
toy shop. You know what I mean? And he's
the
moving
toy
up the
factory.
ladder,
Yeah.
and he's got his elves.
Well, you see, that's the one thing that the writer in me is always breaking shit down. Well, not to the point like because some people are like, can't you ever just watch a movie all the time?
No, you can't. You
But
can't.
sometimes
You can,
you
but
know
you can't.
you can't. Yeah. So I was watching this and I was like, oh, I know exactly what he needs. He needs a foil. He needs like a Sancho Panza to his Don Quixote, right? Because there is something almost Don Quixote like about him. I don't know. I mean, you're familiar with the story of Don Quixote?
No, I've heard of it a million times, but I've never read it.
Amazing. It's like, I mean, I was a lit major. When it comes to the classics, and I've read a lot of classics, and I make sure like almost every other book I read is a classic that I haven't gotten to.
Sweet.
And a lot of the classics are not necessarily good books.
Yeah.
Robinson Crusoe, for instance, right? Some of them are absolutely fantastic. Cervantes, Don Quixote is special. It's about 800 pages or something like that, and it's worth every page. It's like one of those books like The Count of Monte Cristo.
So
right?
I've seen the movie of that. I want to read it, but I fucking love the movie. That's what's fucked up.
No, that's fine because you don't need to have read the original story to know the story.
Yeah,
to know the character.
That movie with the Jim Caviezel inspired me to go and like think of my own story. So I started writing a similar story.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite film version, actually.
Really?
With
Jim Caviezel. Well, I mean, it's got a lot of good actors in there. I think it's from the guy that did Prince of Thieves, right? The same director.
I think so.
Yeah.
And the thing is it condenses the story and it makes changes, and I think all the changes are actually good.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think and Henry Cavill's in there too. I think, and he's like a kid in there.
Really?
And you got Guy Pearce and Jim Caviezel, and also Michael Wincott is that like prison guard.
Yeah,
and I think isn't Max von Sydow in there too? Or no, there's someone like
Richard,
him.
Richard Harris.
Okay, as the
Richard
prisoner,
Harris
right?
is the prisoner that basically turns him, trains him, turns him into a guy who can fight with a sword and is erudite.
That shit's dude, I have to buy that movie, dude. I have.
Yeah,
to buy it.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome, and the novel's awesome too.
Yeah.
But Sancho Panza is the guy that follows Don Quixote around, and he knows that Don Quixote is a little off, right? Mm-hmm. And he knows that he's on a fool's errand, right? Mm-hmm. The guy's tilting at windmills. But he just kind of goes along with him because he just kind of wants to watch out for him, and in his own way, he believes in this crazy dream.
Oh.
And I was thinking, like, that's what he needed. He needed a little helper. Right?
Like a bad Santa, like the little elf.
Right. Like somebody for him to riff, for him to talk to, riff off of. Not that the absence of that kind of a character ruins the movie or anything like that, but I was thinking like, as a writer, that's what I would have done. Like this would have been my first draft, and then the second draft I'd be like, what does this need? This needs a foil. This needs like he needs a little helper. Oh man, you could have fun with that shit.
Yeah, that's a different movie right there.
Yeah,
that's because then his helper, it turns, they both share in the madness, then you would equally need another one, to share his mania.
Exactly.
That turns it maybe to like a Bonnie and Clyde Christmas type movie.
Tag team serial killer movie.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh my God! I can imagine like the home invasions and shit. Oh God.
Yeah.
Really
I mean, then it just goes like again to me. This is like you were saying, a character study. For me, it kind of reminded me a lot of Joker a little bit in Taxi Driver, and a little bit of falling down a little bit, not too much,
Right.
Obviously.
But the Madman is the central character. He's not
Yeah.
a guy who shows up with an axe and starts attacking people. It's his journey. It's his story.
Yeah.
And that's a great scene when these dudes grab him and drag him to the party, and you're afraid it's going to turn into something awful, but it turns into something really kind of wonderful.
This is probably, to me, the scariest part of the movie, maybe.
Yeah.
When he's talking to the kids, because you don't really know what he's going to do, you know?
Absolutely. Because suddenly he gets really dark.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, and for you bad boys and girls, I'm going to be coming for you. And I'm going to leave something for you that is going to be horrible. He's like, damn. And then he starts going, ho, 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 ho. And when he starts ho, ho, hoing, the kids are like they kind of flinch.
Right. They're terrified. You can look at all their eyes. They're all terrified.
Right. So, he's not just embodying the good side of Santa Claus. He's embodying something that is much, much darker. And I think that's the thing that, look, we're talking about this strange guy who breaks into people's homes and leaves gifts. Right? What kind of maniac would do something like that? Right. Is this some kind of threat? Is this some kind of warning? But yeah, he in that scene you see also that when people treat him like this, he's it's not going to cure him. That it's because he has this rage that is insatiable, because he dropped, like, for instance, at the office party that he's introduced to like this new guy, and he's just like, oh yeah, we're going to be giving a bunch of toys to it says on the news they're giving donating a bunch of toys from the toy factory he works at to a children's hospital. And then he talks to the guy about it. He's like, are there going to be enough toys for all the kids? And he's just kids? Like, yeah, he's like what do I care?
It's a good thing we're doing a good thing here. Yeah, but how many kids, exactly how many kids are getting toys? Are the toys good? You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what it's a publicity stunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Showing like, look how much we care. Look how civic minded we are. It's virtue signaling. And not giving a good goddamn about those kids. And yeah, like he's talking about, like, do you know what it's like to make a good toy? Because the stuff they're turning out at his factory is just garbage.
Yeah.
Right? That breaks apart in your hands.
Yeah, and he comes back in and he's just constantly on it, like, dude, why are you guys making this crap? Kids got to play with this shit. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I don't know. Like, if I ever made a toy, it's probably going to be like the fucking Ninja Turtles or the He-Man toys that you could fucking throw against the wall and pick it up and hold it, but be like a McFarlane toy, but not a McFarlane toy,
Right.
When I was a kid, I had the McFarlane toys. Eventually they came out. I had like 9 spawns, and my brother, he broke it was either right arm or the left arm off every single one of them. Like,
oh, ow.
Like,
ow.
Damn, bro, you fucking straight broke the fucking left arm off all these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But, like, you couldn't do that to a He-Man toy. You couldn't do that to a Ninja Turtle toy, So
those were tougher, huh?
Yeah, and everybody wants them. Everybody plays with them. When I was a kid, I got my toys jacked a lot.
Yeah.
So you gotta make them good.
Yes. You look at, like, for instance, like the Japanese toys. My goodness, I remember being in Germany and seeing Japanese toys for the first time, and just being like blown away. I'm like, why don't they have these in America? And then they started marketing them in America as the Shogun Warriors. They made like the really big ones.
Those are cool.
Right? And I had a few of those. But these I especially love because they're made out of die-cast metal.
Those are badass. They're fucking metal.
Oh, man. Like this dude.
I remember there was one point when the...
has tank treads that come up and down. Oh, yeah. Like missile launchers that like, pop up on the shoulders.
Like Power Rangers. Sort of.
Yeah, well, yeah. Power Rangers was it was Power Rangers is basically like a genre,
Yeah.
like the kaiju movies. I'm just
Mm.
forgetting what that genre is. Sim, if you're in the house, let us know what that genre is. Like Kamen Rider, that kind of a thing, because he had much better access to Japanese animation and programming like that than I did. But yeah, I mean these were beautiful toys, and they were tough, man. You could bounce these things around.
That's what I mean, man. I remember when the Power Rangers came out. I kind of like, it was a time when I was getting older, and I was like, this shit's stupid as fuck. You know what I mean? And my buddy and his dad were really into it, and I'm like, dude, no, this fucking Green Ranger, he's turning into the White Ranger, bro. This shit's fucking awesome. Like, this shit's fucking stupid, dude. I mean, it looks cheesy as fuck. But now I understand what it is. It's based off of like Godzilla and a lot of that culture, with the robots and the Gundam and
with the mecha. Here's Mazinger Z,
Ultraman. But I remember when they all came together. I was just about to say, yeah. That big ass fucking Zord, you know what I mean? I remember like hating all that shit, and be like, damn, that fucking Zord's tight as fuck. I want that shit, and like I kind of just wanted it, you know what I mean? Because I liked how they were Transformers, dude. It was Transformers turning in, and it was metal. And in retrospect, I'm like, damn, I was hating on that shit, you know what I mean?
Who invented the Transformers? The Japanese.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was one toy I wanted. I did want that Power Ranger toy. I wouldn't mind just having it and be like, motherfucker, and just put it over there like, that's what's up.
Well, that's one of the things I always liked about the Japanese. Man, they love their children. Not that everybody doesn't love their children. I'm saying as a culture, they love their children.
Right.
And they believe in doing things like giving them dope-ass toys. I mean, they make all the cutest stuff for like the really little kids. I mean, easily.
I'm all about that shit, dude. Like,
oh my God.
What do you want? What do you guys want for Christmas? Like,
Santa's I think bring
it,
I think I just lost a missile. Luckily, I have a bunch of backups too. I think it went flying behind my desk. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun finding that.
That's again the durability, man.
This is like fucking well over 40 years old, and it still works.
It's full on metal, right? It's heavy duty.
Yeah,
I mean, was Mezco. They made like the first Hellboy toy that they ever made. It was made out of vinyl, like a big fucking record,
those things last forever, man.
I bought two of them, and I had to buy the whole series. I had to buy Grendel and the Spirit, so I got those, and then I bought another Hellboy just to never open it, you know what I mean, just because I thought it was cool and it's real heavy. So I got those, and it's like, damn, dude, I like the way this Hellboy is constructed, from Mezco, the first one.
Yeah,
and like I want to make it a vinyl like this or something like He-Man, if I ever get to make me a toy of a character someday,
Right. Yeah, no, the vinyl toys are great. They'll take like a ton of Get hammer nails with these things, man. No, I mean not literally, but they don't have enough weight to them. With the die-cast metal ones, you can definitely hammer nails. But yeah, like these things, these will take a beating.
I remember I had a Godzilla like that too, like a big ass one back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And I remember that movie Commando came out.
Commando!
And, my buddy had a big fucking John Matrix, and I was just like, dude, I want one of those, bro. I always wanted a big John Matrix, and I never got one. And I think they had the dude from the villain. I forgot what his name is in the movie. I can't. Bennett, let off some steam, Bennett.
Let off some steam. Oh, do you mean
But they came out with the T800. That's the fucking toy. When I was a kid, I always wanted that. But they came out with the T800 shortly after when Terminator 2 came out.
Yeah,
that was even better. So he was a fucking Terminator. So you could rip his open
the Terminator
in his metal rib cage, and he could talk. And I was like, oh fuck yeah, because Arnold was the shit back then, dude. Like,
Arnold was the shit.
He was a superhero. I don't give a fuck.
Yes, he looked well. That's why he was so well cast in those movies, was because he looked like he stepped off the page of a comic book.
Yeah, he was a superhero. Yeah,
he was a superhero.
Straight up. Yeah.
You know what drives me crazy though is his pants are missing.
Yeah, that's that scene where he's like rowing his boat or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, when he's rowing and he sees back muscles. Although the best is that scene in Twins where he's like, "I have a brother," and then he just like hops in the boat and he's just like rowing to America.
With Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito last night. I was thinking of Twins. It's called Deck the Halls, and fucking it was stupid, but
yeah. so, so, but yeah, so shit unfortunately starts to get a really dark really fast. It takes a while before you get to the first kill. I think
it was good that you earned that kill. You know what I mean? Like the movie that kill's earned, and I didn't think it was gonna happen. I didn't know, because there's a lot of fucking movies about this, about just like the human psyche and people and society that like they kind of turn, but they don't really go anywhere with it. Like the character doesn't take that snap. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? He doesn't have that hit, falling down, Taxi Driver, Joker, they they do that turn that kind of needs that oomph in the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
One more thing, and I'm gonna leave it at this on falling down. The cop in Falling Down, the chief of police, I believe, he's in this fucking movie too.
No shit.
So maybe Schumacher was watching this when he casted him. He's that shit talking guy that's always talking shit to Robert Duvall. He's all, there's one thing about every cop, you don't curse. You don't curse, so I don't trust you. I haven't. He's like, fuck you very much. Fuck you, Sergeant. Remember at the end of Falling Down?
Yeah.
He's in here and he's got like brown hair. Like, damn, that motherfucker, he had some fucking brown hair once. I think he's in Dewey Cox. He's in that movie, Dewey Cox.
Dewey Cox?
Remember that one? Was it Walk the Line or Walk Hard? Walk Hard.
Oh, it's like a spoof on Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
One more stupid off the wall thing. I was on Twitter and Bruce Campbell said something like, "Hey, check out Bubba Hotep," and I'm like, "Oh, I fucking love that movie. Yeah. What's the next?" I'm like, "You guys need to make a sequel, dude. Since you're not fucking really, do anything. You want to play an old Elvis? Do fucking Cash versus Elvis.
Oh wow,
he could be a vampire Cash. I mean, what else could you do? So you got Elvis that everybody, everybody hated Elvis back then. He was like fucking black metal back then, but so was Cash.
Yes.
Yep. But Cash, he's all black, dude. So I mean, what do you make black? What's an all black? I mean, wearing all black like that. I mean, he'd be a vampire probably, right?
Well, Coscarelli wanted to do a prequel called Bubba Nosferatu.
I remember that one. Yeah, I remember hearing about that on the special
and
features.
Bruce Campbell declined. And I think for a good reason. I think Bubba Hotep is a special little movie and that it shouldn't have a prequel or a sequel. That's my own personal feeling, right? Yeah. Coscarelli, when I saw him at the Alamo Draft House,
yeah.
He was selling and signing his book, True Indie, and he introduced the movie, and he's talking to the audience. He was like, "Well, would you be up for like Bubba Nosferatu with a different actor?"
No.
Crickets.
I wouldn't.
Like, dude, make another Joe Lansdale thing. Don't let it go.
Yeah, I know they did a sequel in the comics. But I didn't buy it. There's something I wasn't connecting with it. You know what I mean? And I love the movie. I got the toy, the special edition.
Yeah.
I've seen it in the theaters when it came out when I was a fucking teenager. You know what I mean?
Filmed
it down this fucking street from my house.
No shit.
But I don't know. Maybe if they made a sequel now, I might. It's hard. There might be a nostalgia thing, wanting to see Bruce Campbell on screen because he did that fucking. He did a new horror movie, right? He did Black. Mm-hmm. He did what's it?
Is it a horror movie though?
He did Black Friday.
Is it a horror? Yeah. Is that a horror movie or is that like
him and Michael Jai White, Spawn and fucking Ash?
Oh, that's right.
At a fucking store and it's on Black Friday and everybody turns into to zombies. But it's like, dude, you can do movies with fucking zombies, but not fucking deadites. And he's like, I can't physically play Ash, dude. Fucking get a stuntman. You've had a stuntman running around for you since Army of Darkness. He's always had a stuntman.
Right.
I just think he doesn't want to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then you got motherfuckers like Willem Dafoe. He's doing Spider-Man 10 right now, and he's like, I'm only gonna do the movie if I could do my own stunts and do my own fight scenes. I'm 66 years old. Mic drop. Oof. You know what I mean?
Well, you gotta love Dafoe. Oh my god. Yeah, no, there are some cats who are like that.
He looks young though, dude. He looks like
he looks good.
He looks like he's fucking 55. You know what I mean? Like He doesn't look 66.
No,
He's
not
ripped
at all.
up too. He's all ripped
Yeah,
up.
he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, I love that dude. He's going to be in that. He's in that new The Northman, that new Viking movie that's coming
dude. Oh, and he's in Nightmare Alley. I want to see that shit like a motherfucker. Those are like the two movies I want to see right now. I want to see Spider-Man. Like, I'll take my kid, and I know it's going to be fucking one of the best superhero movies.
Everybody loves it. I haven't seen it.
Dude,
everybody loves it.
Northman, that's my jam, bro. Like, I've been like that fool got, he got stepped over by Hemsworth, even though he's a straight up Viking. He would theoretically be Thor. You'd have him and his dad's in fucking Thor, playing the scientist solving an actual movie.
Have you seen Mortal yet?
No.
Check that out. Out. If you love Thor, you've got to see that. It's basically like an alternate Thor movie.
Gotta see it. I was watching Ragnarok too.
It's really that's like a total overlooked gem, I think. Yeah, very
This movie looks cool though, man. That trailer looks good.
Oh yeah, it looks badass. Yeah, man. I
Berserker.
love the fact that we're getting Viking movies now.
Yeah,
that's a genre that's coming back.
Yeah, it took my whole life basically.
I know, me too.
And I would eat up like 15 years ago. I would eat up any like Pathfinder. I would buy that Viking game. It was called Viking. I bought that fucking. There was nothing. You know what I mean? Then that
very
TV
little.
show. Then Vikings came out, and the movie Thor came out. It kind of just fucking blew up everything.
Yeah, it did. And the series Vikings, I personally stopped watching like halfway into the second season. It didn't give a fuck about history at all.
No, it deviates a lot, dude.
Dude, once you know what? You know when they lost me? When they start bringing women on their fucking raids.
Yeah, they didn't do that. Women's didn't really fight too much. We're just barely now finding some about, they were there to kind of like do shamanistic stuff and kind of be support mechanisms. But I mean, they're,
No. Well, but here you got to remember, we're living in the social justice era. History is what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of
there were female
Vikings about that.
There were female Vikings because social justice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the Amazons were real and all that other shit too because social justice.
Exactly.
I mean, dude, would you imagine the Viking that brings his wife on the ship, on the boat? You don't think all the other Vikings there are going to be giving him the fucking stink eye the whole way there and the whole way back? Do you know what I'm saying? It's insane. And I lost friends over that. Over going like, yeah, this is like, historically, this is bullshit. No, it's not.
I follow,
why?
like,
social justice.
No, there's a lot of like dudes that like watch their videos and stuff. And, they actually have like degrees in Norse mythology and also Norse, like, but now they're getting canceled because it's not the way that but they're like, dude, I'm just going by facts, bro. Like there's no fucking evidence really. I mean, obviously there's a couple that got buried with some fucking shields and some swords, but that don't mean shit.
Proof.
You know what
That's
I mean?
Proof.
Yeah. But still,
really?
that might be one, dude. I mean, it's not too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's such bullshit. Oh, Simon says my family name comes from the family of King Rollo. That's pretty badass, dude. Viking women were tough warrior too, but stayed home and were the last line of defense. Thank you.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because
he's a Norman.
You have to remember, Viking is a occupation. Viking is basically like pirate.
Yeah.
Right. So when I talk about the Vikings, I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the guys who got on the boats and went to rape and pillage.
Yeah, the jobs. Yeah, that was the job.
That was a job.
That was a job title.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love
Berserker was too in a way. I mean,
absolutely.
They ate up their shroom juice, and
Yeah, I'm gonna weaponize crazy.
And the movie he does that a little bit too.
Worked up into that? Yeah.
I was like, dude, and he's perfect. I was like, why don't they get that big Gothenburg motherfucker to play like a Viking? I've been saying that for like 10 years, and they did.
Dude,
they fucking did it, and like they did it good. Like in the trailer, he's like,
get all those dudes
with the fucking axe jumping down and shit, and I'm like, that's cool. And then they fucking throw the wolf headdress on there. I'm like, they're making him a motherfucking berserker. What the
Yeah.
fuck? He's a
Yeah.
motherfucking berserker too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
dude, come on. I'm all in.
the word berserk means bear shirt,
Yeah,
right?
bear shirt.
Bear shirt, because you're putting on the skin of the animal to channel the ferocity of the animal.
Yep.
For combat. So it's I don't know kung fu, but I don't know karate, but I do know crazy.
I hope that movie, like, I mean,
that's not
there's already some badass like action in the trailer, like the
Oh, it looks
brutality of him
beautiful.
catching the spear and then I'm using the axe. I just hope there's more of that. If there's just a little more of that, I'll be fucking happy. It doesn't take much for me. Like,
no, me neither.
For those types of movies, it doesn't take much.
Me neither.
You know what it looks like, dude? It looks like John Millis's Conan with Vikings.
Yes, that's what it looks like. It looks exactly
you kill my mommy,
like
you kill
that.
my daddy. I'm coming back as a slave, and I'm gonna fuck you up. That's why I was like, dude. And then they got the actor to play him, and then they put in a couple big name actors. Ethan Hawke,
one of the Scars guards.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I remember going to see the 13th Warrior in a theater, and I had some gripes about it. My main gripe was the fact that they downplayed the fact that basically it's Beowulf the true story, right? The fact that they, that, like, for instance, where there's the Wendell arm, they don't nail it above the door and all that stuff, because the producers, I'm sure, were thinking. I don't blame the director. Why am I blanking on his name? The guy who did Predator and Die Hard. I don't blame him. John McTiernan. I don't blame him, because I guarantee you that was the producers. They're just like, they're not going to know what Beowulf is, but you can still put that shit in there and nobody's going to complain. They're not going to be like, oh, I don't get that. I've never read Beowulf, right?
It seems like every fucking Viking movie is Beowulf, like from the 80s until fucking recently. Like the last, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like Pathfinder's fucking Beowulf, Outlander's Beowulf, 13th Warriors Beowulf. They all have similarities with Beowulf, where there's this outside guy that comes into a Viking village and saves them from a monster.
Right. Well, Pathfinder is actually based on an ancient Viking tale.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Except they moved it. Yeah. In fact, look for the original Pathfinder movie.
You know what Pathfinder has in there?
Yeah.
You know what it has in there? The Kurgan, bro.
Of course. Yeah.
It's got Rolf Mueller, bro.
Yeah, it's got Clancy. It's got
Rolf Mueller, the German dude.
Rolf Mueller, the Conan.
I like that movie for just different reasons. I mean,
that's fine.
It's just kind of.
That's fine.
That's cool. I do love that movie.
But like I was saying, like with the 13th Warrior, I'm sitting there in the theater and I'm kind of like, I'm like, okay, this is all right. So far, a little annoyed by the fact that they're ignoring the whole Beowulf angle. And then you see this magnificent shot of a Viking dragon boat going down a frozen fjord with the mist and everything. I'm just like, hell yeah. More of that. Please. More of that. Dude. Because Viking movies were a genre.
Yeah, back in like 60s and shit, right?
Yes.
In the 50s?
Yeah, in the 50s. Yeah. So, like Westerns and pirate movies and that sort of a thing. So bring that shit back. And it looks like they are. So
I'm
even
totally
though
down with that. That's
totally. Yeah, man. That's
where I'm going.
Definitely, man. Of course, here in New York, they're locking us down again. So
no shit. I seen a video from fucking Beavis today. The motherfucker came on when I was taking my kids to the park. He's like, if you haven't got jabbed up on the 10th time, you gotta, you do a service to your country. I'm like, dude, chill out, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's purely performative. It's theater.
For sure, he's a puppet. Looks like that puppet from Durham.
Yeah, he does. Jeff Dunham, you mean?
Yeah,
he does, like the old man. Yeah. Well, but it's just now they're saying also that if you've had the Rona, the antibodies in your system, those aren't good enough. You still need the vaccine that's not a vaccine. It's an immune system booster.
Yeah, you need to get one every month, basically. That's like the whole...
Yeah,
you gotta get one every month, yeah.
Yeah, it's performative. It's theater. It's also, part of me is thinking that maybe they're like, you know what? Let's see how far we can fucking push these motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, it's all just a test, just to see like what we can do. Yeah, it's all just a test.
I think so.
I mean, people are gonna get it every year because of the flu, or they're gonna get.
Everybody's gonna get it.
I mean, yeah, people are gonna die sometimes, and it's fucked up.
Yes, like with the flu. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
With the flu, it's the same shit, But like, like my favorite comedian said, a lot of, like a lot of the shit he threw a lot of fucks in there and a lot of mannerisms in there, but a lot of time he was actually delivering fact. Carlin,
yes,
he was saying, you got to have an immune system,
Yep.
to fucking fight the germs. That's what the immune system does. It fucking fights germs. So what are you gonna do, when fucking a big crazy virus comes in and makes you cough all your fucking guts up? If you have no immune system to fight it, to get in there. Throw your kid in the fucking dirt. That's what I did today. I threw my fucking kid in the dirt. Threw my daughter in the dirt, and they fucking rolled around in the dirt. We'll rail down some fucking hills.
Oh, that's adorable. That's fucking great.
Yeah. And they're running around. They've been running around.
That's
and
great.
They got to get dirty, dude. They got to fucking build.
Yes.
They got to build shit up.
Yes. But no, it's just discouraging because if you even point out that the vaccine isn't a vaccine, you're an anti-vaxxer now. Yeah. Which drives me freaking crazy, man. It's like all my Blue Anon friends are, they're on their like second or third jab.
They're like, thank you, Daddy, jab me up. Oh, Daddy Govey.
Well, because it's like, and they announce it.
Then they put the gag on their face, like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the next thing is like to have people wearing 3 masks or to start wearing like buckets on their heads or something. Do you know what I mean? Like stand on one leg and rub your stomach.
Simon Says. Yeah.
Simon Says. Yeah. It's getting there. So, but yes, back to the movie. So our hero goes to a church where they're having midnight mass. People are sitting there, yuppies looking bored as fuck. They don't want to be there. Their heart's really not in it. They're just there to be there because it's like a social thing and a status thing because the people that come walking out of that place are strictly ruling class.
Yeah.
And so these yuppies come down and they start fucking with him mercilessly. Just being real dicks. And then
Why was he there? Why was he there? That was the one thing like I couldn't get in the movie.
This was I think he was there to kill somebody.
Yeah.
I think that not like anybody specific and maybe not even thinking I'm going to go kill somebody, but he just put himself out there and these people came up to him. I think he was there to like kind of be there, and so when they came out, they'd be like, "Oh, it's Santa Claus! What up?" And
like I am this manifestation. He's like, I am this now. I'm going to see what the worst has to offer. What are you going to do to me? Like, this is what I am now. This is my skin. Yeah. Let's see what happens. So he was at that point, huh?
Yes, I think so. And so these obnoxious motherfuckers start just being absolute assholes to them. And this one guy in particular was just great at playing a rich entitled prick, and homeboy just stabs him in the eye.
Yeah,
and there's a nice close up with it. I was like, damn, like eye gore, just like
up, right?
Like really going to like because that's that's like the first kill in the movie, isn't it? When he like stabs that motherfucker in the eye.
Yeah, totally, dude. I wasn't, he's just like. I didn't expect that, man.
And he takes out the tomahawk and it's just boom, 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 boom.
And it feels real too. Like
it does.
It's like, whoa, man, what the fuck? It felt horrific. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like Jason or Freddy because the brood, because the build up and then the delivery. You're like, oh, okay,
right,
all right.
And Simon, yes, you are right. Carlin was the GOAT. The reason why I'm such a potty mouth is because as a little kid, we had HBO, and George Carlin used to have stand-up specials.
Oh, yeah. I know about
and
those.
Between him and Richard Pryor, potty mouth for life. Without
my dad, I have 10 tapes of VHS from the HBO, from the ones from your time, because they re-aired them. My dad taped all of them for me, because my dad liked Carlin too, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome.
I told at a young age, I was like, hey, this guy's funny. I fucking like this guy. He's hilarious. I think he's my favorite comedian. And I never found anybody that ever, to me personally, that made me laugh that way, But I still got him, man. I got all of his shit.
Yeah, for me, he's like number 2 after Pryor. To me, no, I don't think anybody was funnier than fucking Richard Pryor when he was at his peak.
Yeah.
And Yeah, like I think is like the Richard Pryor live in concert. Like
I have
that,
to go
I
check
think
him
is the
out.
best
I have
set.
to go check him out because I've seen some of his stuff, and it's
Yeah,
I have to go check it out again.
Richard Pryor live in concert. It's on. I believe it's on Netflix. That is the best set I've ever seen from a comedian.
Is he
Ever.
political with his comedy at all?
Not especially.
Because
Carlin was very
Carlin kind of
political and left wing political too.
yeah.
It's just, he wouldn't recognize what passes for the left in this country.
No,
anymore.
He would be technically a middle of the road in this day and age.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, and they would cancel his ass fucking.
Oh
fast.
yeah, he'd be canceled like a motherfucker, and his buddy fucking Kevin, would even throw him under the bus. I think in this point, which is pretty fucked up.
Fuck Kevin Smith. Well, Preston has a Kevin Smith that's pretty interesting about how he's all like
I heard some jazz
F
about
the man
that.
and then it turns out that Kevin was actually acting a lot like the man.
Yeah, I heard some
not
jazz
wanting
about.
to pay people.
He told me about that story.
Yeah,
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah, so fuck him. Not a man of the people. So he stabs this motherfucker in the eye, brains the rest of them with that's just a great moment because they're such assholes, right?
Yeah.
That you don't really feel. It's just like, what he did wasn't good, but they kind of had it coming.
They kind of had it coming in some ways, but it's like, dude, he just fucking murdered those motherfuckers. That's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of
and
course.
I felt the horror. I wouldn't have felt shit for some reason if I had not seen the whole beginning of the movie. That scene had a lot of weight behind it.
Exactly.
And so it felt horrific when it happened.
Right.
Like, oh shit! I didn't expect him to do that. I didn't expect his character to do that.
Right.
And I thought he was just a sick, guy that wanted to be Santa. I didn't think he was going to go to the horror level that he did.
Yeah, and once again, that's the point of the slow burn: is that you're building up, and then moments like this are that much stronger. Oh, right.
That's why this movie's so good. I think, man.
I think so too.
It's hard to do that. Even say what you will about the movie and whatnot. I think it's hard to make a successful story or a good comic, a movie, a book with the entertaining and engaging slow burn. Without people falling asleep and getting bored out of their fucking minds. But to me, this didn't. I was sitting there with my coffee early morning, Christmas time, and it delivered, in my opinion.
I'm glad you enjoyed it as much as I did, because when I started watching it, I was just like, boy, this is a lot slower than I remembered. Not that I wasn't digging it, but I was thinking, you think about other people like, who tend to have shorter attention spans than we do. Yeah. And but it has a really curious power.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And my goodness, man, when you get to that ending, should we give the ending away, or should we leave that?
I found myself laughing a lot during this movie too, though, which is like laughing, like when he was squeezing down the chimney, I was laughing my fucking ass off.
Yes.
He's like,
right.
I don't know. It was just funny as fuck. He was trying to squeeze down the chimney, and then there was another part too that I was really laughing my ass off. I can't remember, but there's some funny scenes in this movie, just because it's just funny, and the movie seems realistic. Like, what is it? It's basically New York, 1980 era, something like that.
I mean,
that way.
It's Canada, but you get the impression that we're supposed to think that this is New York City.
Well, there was that one scene where he's on like the bay somewhere. You know what I mean? And like when I feel like I'm watching a New York 70s, 80s movie, I'm looking for the two towers, and the camera was going to the left, going left, and boom, the two towers are over in the left. So I'm like, where's he at?
Exactly. Yeah. It's supposed to be sense. It's supposed to be New York City. There's like the giant Christmas tree, Rockefeller Plaza and all that stuff. So you're supposed to think that this is New York, but boy, it doesn't even feel a little bit like New York. This is Canada for sure. But then again, if you're like me, and because I remember like in the late 70s, early 80s, you started to have movies coming out of countries that you didn't normally have movies coming out of. And one of them was Australia. And the other one was Canada. And most of the Canadian movies weren't very good. And then we got David Cronenberg, who's, the GOAT, is just,
Mad Max too. That's the other one you're talking about, right?
And Mad Max.
Yeah.
And Mad Max 2. You're right, which is my shit. That's my shit we're talking about right there.
I probably like Mad Max 2 in retrospect the most.
Oh, dude.
And I only seen it once, but I'm looking back like,
really?
That was probably the one.
I highly, 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 highly recommend that you get the. Oh yes, our porn bot is back. I highly recommend that you get the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray for that is eye-popping. Like I got the Blu-ray for Mad Max. It's basically just like no different than the DVD rip. But the Blu-ray rip of Mad Max 2 compared to the DVD, oh my god.
Oh, yes. Man. And I like Fury Road a lot. That movie was pretty badass. And I only watched that once too. I didn't play it out. Like there's certain movies where they're so fucking good that I don't want to watch them again until like I buy it in a couple years and then binge it again and dissect the motherfucker. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
There's some movies that are like that.
Oh, without a doubt. And I'm not a big fan of Fury Road. A kinder, gentler Mad Max is not what I wanted. But then again, we got that in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome too.
Yeah, and that was my favorite, just because the beginning, dude. Like, I really loved the whole like. All right, sidetrack real quick. 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
For me, like I want to see Max like fight a lot. And you don't see him fight a lot. And I know maybe it doesn't have to do with that genre or whatnot, but I want to see him punching. I want to see him kicking. I want to see him getting into fights. He doesn't
shooting people in the face with a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun.
I want to see fights though.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great too.
And in Thunderdome, we kind of got that a little bit more. I mean, he got more of the weapons and shit. That's why I liked it a lot.
Yes, and that stuff was great. It's just,
the end. I hated the end of that movie.
No, it's terrible. Oh, it's terrible.
It felt like Hook or something. The end of that movie felt like Hook.
Auntie Entity needed to go.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is this shit?
The bad guys needed to get whacked, right?
Yeah.
And also, I was thinking, okay, the first movie had a head-on collision with a Mack truck and a motorcycle. Second movie ended with a head-on collision between a car and a Mack truck. So you know what you got to do for Mad Max 3. You got to have a head-on collision between two Mack trucks and see what the fuck that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we're whacking people in the head with frying pans instead of blowing their brains out. Yeah, I remember walking. I look at it now. It's not really that bad of a movie, but when I was a kid, I walked out of that theater just crestfallen.
That was the first one I seen as a kid. So I just seen Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Right.
I was like, "Ooh, this is cool. They're on bungee cords and they're flying around with chainsaws. Fuck yeah!"
That seems great.
The
Thunderdome's great.
And he looks like Braveheart and fucking I always thought he was Wolverine. Like he looked like the perfect Wolverine because I watched the Fox show cartoon.
There was always talk. There was always talk of having him play Wolverine. He looked to me a lot like Grimjack, who was like my favorite comic book character at the time.
I remember that name, but I forgot what he looked like.
Oh, dude,
that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Wow. I could talk about Grimjack forever, so I'm not going to get started. Let's see. Yeah, and like Simon's saying, because most American investors are distribution. Well, that's because Mel Gibson was officially a big star, sexiest man alive, all that shit, right? So you couldn't have him getting down and dirty and nasty in a Mad Max movie. That's why we got a kinder, gentler Mad Max. And and then I think Tina Turner's very good in that. But then it's just like, oh well, it's Tina Turner. We can't like have her eat a bullet or get like blown the fuck up. Very clearly that character needed to go. I'm thinking. So what? Spoiler warning. At the end of the film, he turns into Santa Claus. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like one of those things where it's like, well, he's insane, so he's imagining this, because we see that other people are seeing it too, right?
Definitely.
He's being chased by the torch wielding mob, drives his van, with the sleigh painted on the side, and he takes off sailing through the air. It takes off into the night. Why? Because of the magic of Christmas.
And that's the ending right there.
And that's the ending. Yeah, and yeah, it's wonderful. It's not like, it doesn't feel like it was a tacked on gimmick.
No, it wasn't a sellout ending.
No, it was sincere.
Yeah.
And it just leaves you with this strange feeling. Like,
yeah, totally, dude. And I saw the the other cover art that you show me right now, where it has the van up, going into the moon like E.T. But it reminded me of the end of the movie, and I was like, oh, that's cool. They put that in there,
Check this one out.
Oh, that's a new one, huh?
No, the other one was a new one.
Oh,
this might be new too, but I think the one that I was showing you before is for the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray release.
See, there it goes, up in the moon.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, and they're kind of I mean, usually when they put movies out like this, they assume that you're buying it because you've seen it.
Yeah, totally.
Right, and I wouldn't consider that a huge spoiler. I would be like, right, but yeah, they are making it kind of look a little bit like E.T. there, even though this came out before E.T. Yeah, you're kind of right about that.
It's been crazy, man. I haven't been checking the whole like solstice and but it's been like I think the last 3 or 4 days it's been full moon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's badass. It looks it's beautiful and spooky outside. All right, Matt, any final words on Christmas Evil?
Check it out, man. You guys you're in for a treat. It's something different again. Good character study. It's a horror movie. Something you haven't seen like that in the horror Christmas genre. What up?
What up, Forest Publishing?
Haven't seen you in a while, man. Nice to see you, brother. And yeah, man. Merry Christmas. Hell. Happy New Year. And keep the change, you filthy animal.
Yeah, everybody, if you're interested in Christmas Evil, this movie that we've been talking about, link down below. You can click watch it on Tubi. It's with commercials, but unedited.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah, so you see that like toy soldier's sword go right in that motherfucker's eyeball.
Well, it's like if it's at night when the kids are sleeping, you get up, get your beer, your soda, your popcorn, your fucking top of ramen, whatever the fuck you're gonna get in your tap. Early in the morning, they're sleeping. You get up and make your coffee. That's what I was doing. Like turn that shit on, fucking, watch it on your laptop, watch it on your TV, whatever you want to do, and it's fucking free, dude. So check it out.
Yes, absolutely. All right, folks. We're gonna call it a night. Thank you, Sim, Forest Publishing. Who else has been hanging out in the chat? We had Mike Murphy, whom I misidentified when he came in. I still feel like an idiot
for that book, man. He's got some good shit coming out.
Oh, dude, yeah. And we were talking also. I gotta have like another stream where like a bunch of us get together and talk about making that CG Western anthology.
Oh, fuck yeah! Oh yeah, dude.
We got to make that happen in 2022.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Whatever you're celebrating, a blessed Yule to all of my pagan friends. Happy Hanukkah, although I think that's over now. To all my Jewish peeps, all of my Christian peeps. Have a very Merry Christmas, and everybody, all y'all, have a very happy New Year. Much love from me. Much love from Matt. I mean, I don't mean to speak for you or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Much love. You guys have a good one.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. And everybody, stay scared.